Have you ever noticed how one harsh word, one unexpected moment, or one person's attitude can destroy your entire day? You wake up in peace, but the minute something doesn't go your way, your emotions take control, and suddenly your peace is gone. Yet the truth is, peace was never lost, it was simply handed over to the wrong person. If you've ever felt that your emotions control you instead of you controlling them, then listen carefully, because this message might change the way you handle life forever. Emotional control is not about pretending that pain doesn't exist or about hiding sadness and anger behind a smile. It's about having the strength to feel deeply but still act wisely. It's about mastering your emotions instead of allowing them to master you. In every moment of frustration, in every burst of anger, you stand at a crossroads. You can either react impulsively and lose your peace, or respond consciously and protect it. The person who learns to control emotions gains the power to steer their life in the direction of calmness, clarity, and true inner strength. Think about it. How many arguments, regrets, and broken relationships come not from what was said, but from how it was said? The words we speak in anger are often the ones that echo longest in our minds. The decisions we make in frustration are the ones we most wish we could undo. That's because emotions are like wild horses. If left untamed, they drag us wherever they wish. But if guided, they can carry us toward purpose, patience, and wisdom. The foundation of inner peace is built when you learn to take the reins back from those emotions. When a person can stand still in the middle of chaos, they've reached a level of maturity that no storm can shake. It doesn't mean they don't feel pain. It means they don't allow pain to dictate their behavior. It doesn't mean they don't get angry. It means they choose not to let anger destroy their calm. That kind of discipline is not born overnight. It's the result of daily awareness. Every time you choose silence over shouting, calm over panic, patience over haste, you strengthen your emotional muscles. And just like physical strength, emotional strength grows through resistance. True emotional control begins with understanding that peace is your natural state. Anger, fear, and anxiety are visitors. They come, they test you, and then they leave. The problem is that most people build homes for those emotions instead of letting them pass through. When you cling to negativity, it becomes your identity. But when you learn to observe emotions like clouds passing across the sky, you realize that none of them define you. You are the sky, vast, stable, and untouched by the storms that pass within it. Every person you meet, every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice emotional control. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's not a reason to lose peace, it's a chance to test your calm. Someone insults you. That's not an attack, it's an exam of your self-mastery. Life is full of these tests, and peace belongs to those who keep passing them quietly. The world may praise power, wealth, and success, but the greatest achievement is to remain unshaken when everything tries to pull you apart. When you start mastering your emotions, you start mastering your destiny. Because emotions drive decisions. And decisions shape life. A person who can't control anger will destroy opportunities. A person who can't control fear will never take risks. But the one who governs their emotions stands firm in every season, rising above chaos, walking with purpose, and carrying a peace that no one can steal. So remember, this control doesn't mean suppression, it means direction. Let your emotions flow through you, but don't let them rule you. Feel them, acknowledge them, but never hand them the steering wheel of your life. Peace is not found by changing your surroundings. It's found by changing your response. The day you learn to master your emotions is the day you unlock the door to unshakable inner peace. Every moment you live contains two hidden forces waiting to be chosen: chaos and calm. These two powers exist in every situation, and whichever one you feed becomes your reality. The world around you will never stop presenting challenges, arguments, disappointments, losses, misunderstandings, but within each of them lies a quiet opportunity. That opportunity is to choose calm over chaos, peace over panic, and patience over reaction. When you realize that you always have this choice, you begin to understand what real control feels like. Chaos is loud, demanding, and impatient. It tempts you to respond instantly, to let anger take over, to prove your point no matter the cost. Calm, on the other hand, is quiet but powerful. It whispers that you don't need to fight every battle, that silence can be strength, that peace is often louder than any argument. When chaos rises within you, it's your awareness that decides whether it becomes your master or your teacher. You can let chaos break you, or you can let it build your discipline. Think of a storm. When wind and rain roar outside, trees that are weak snap easily. But trees with deep roots bend, not break. Life storms work the same way. You cannot control when they come, but you can choose how deep your roots of calmness grow. Every time you choose patience in place of rage, you strengthen those roots. Every time you take a deep breath instead of shouting, you add another layer of resilience to your peace. Chaos may come often, but calm is a skill that grows with practice. Many people believe peace is something that happens when everything goes right, but that is an illusion. True peace is not found in perfect conditions, it's found in a trained heart. You may be surrounded by noise, betrayal, or failure, yet still remain centered because you've learned that peace is an inside job. Chaos thrives when it gets your attention, when it draws you into its storm. But calm thrives when you stay focused on what truly matters. Your purpose, your integrity, your faith, your sense of self. Every situation that provokes you is like a mirror, showing you whether you are ruled by chaos or guided by calm. When you lose your temper, chaos has won. When you hold your ground in peace, calm has taken over. The real victory in life is not in proving others wrong. It's in not allowing others to pull you away from your peace. You begin to realize that not everything deserves your energy, not every insult needs an answer, and not every problem needs a reaction. That's when you grow beyond emotional survival into emotional mastery. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending problems don't exist. It's about managing how much power they have over your spirit. Calm is not weakness, it's silent strength. It's the shield that guards your mind from being consumed by temporary emotions. Even when everything seems unfair, choosing calm keeps your energy pure. Because when your heart is peaceful, your mind becomes clear, and clarity leads to better choices. Chaos wants you to lose focus. Calm helps you see the path through the storm. So in every situation, whether it's a conversation, a disappointment, or a challenge, pause and ask yourself, which power will I feed today? Will I feed chaos with anger or calm with patience? The more you choose calm, the easier it becomes to find peace, even in noise. Life is a constant invitation to either react or respond, and peace belongs to those who respond with calm. You cannot stop chaos from knocking, but you can choose not to let it live inside you. And when calm becomes your habit, peace becomes your nature. Peace begins the very moment you decide that no one else deserves the power to control how you feel. For too long, people give their emotional state to others, letting a stranger's insult, a friend's mood, or a loved one's actions determine their peace. It's almost as if they hand the keys of their heart to everyone they meet and then wonder why they keep getting hurt. True peace starts when you take those keys back. It starts when you say, I choose how I feel. I decide how I respond. My peace is mine alone. Think of how often we allow small moments to ruin big parts of our day. One rude comment can change your mood. One person's bad behavior can affect your energy for hours. Yet the truth is, nobody can take your peace without your permission. People can say or do whatever they want, but you are the one who decides whether to absorb it or let it go. When you stop allowing others to pull the strings of your emotions, you begin to live with a calm that no insult or disappointment can touch. The problem is that most people build their emotional state around external approval. When others praise them, they feel good. When others criticize them, they collapse. That's an exhausting way to live because it gives strangers the ability to define your worth. Real freedom begins when you stop chasing emotional validation and start grounding your peace within yourself. The moment you no longer need people to behave a certain way for you to feel calm, you've discovered real strength. Because peace that depends on others is temporary, but peace that comes from self-control is eternal. When someone provokes you, you always have two options. You can let their behavior dictate your mood, or you can rise above it with dignity. The person who stays calm when others lose control is not weak. They are wise. They know that every reaction costs emotional energy, and not everyone deserves that energy. If you give your peace to every person who annoys you, you'll have nothing left for the things that truly matter. So learn to protect it the way you protect something precious, because peace is the most valuable possession you'll ever own. There's an unspoken power in staying calm when others expect you to break. When someone tries to offend you and you respond with silence, you've already won. You've proven that their actions no longer have control over your state of mind. That kind of peace is not passive, it's powerful. It means you've learned to manage your emotions instead of letting emotions manage you. It means you've reached a point where your happiness is not at the mercy of people's moods or mistakes. Of course, this doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It simply means you stop depending on them for your inner peace. You still feel, you still love, but you don't let anyone's negativity live rent-free in your heart. People will always have opinions, judgments, and bad days, but you don't have to carry their emotional baggage. You can choose to meet hostility with patience, arrogance with humility, and anger with understanding. That's how peace is built, moment by moment, choice by choice. It takes maturity to say, I will not let this steal my peace. It takes wisdom to walk away from conflict that doesn't lead to growth. The more you practice this, the lighter your soul becomes. You begin to realize that peace is not found in changing people. It's found in changing your reaction to them. You can't control what others say or do, but you can always control how much space you give it in your heart. When you stop letting others control your emotions, you become untouchable in the best way. Your calmness becomes your strength, your silence becomes your armor, and your self-control becomes your freedom. Peace begins not when the world stops testing you, but when you stop giving it the power to disturb your soul. Life will always send storms your way, unexpected moments that shake your peace, test your patience, and challenge your strength. You cannot stop them from arriving. No matter how careful you are, no matter how good your intentions may be, storms will still come. People will disappoint you, plans will fail, and situations will turn against you. But here's the truth that changes everything. Peace doesn't come from avoiding storms. It comes from learning how to stand firm in the middle of them. You can't control the weather of life, but you can build the strength to endure it. When a storm hits, most people panic. They question why it happened, who caused it, and how long it will last. But those who have learned emotional strength understand that storms are not always meant to destroy. Sometimes they come to cleanse, to teach, to redirect. The same rain that ruins one person's day brings growth to another's garden. The difference is not in the storm, it's in how you face it. You can let the wind break you, or you can let it shape you into someone stronger than before. Emotional maturity is the ability to stay grounded when everything around you is shaking. It doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you don't let pain define you. It doesn't mean you don't cry. It means you don't drown in your tears. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build resilience. Just as a muscle grows through resistance, your spirit strengthens through adversity. The storms of life are not punishments. They are training grounds for your inner peace. When you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? You transform every storm into a lesson. You realize that peace is not about living without problems. It's about living with perspective. You begin to understand that pain often carries wisdom, that delays are sometimes protection, and that chaos can reveal what truly matters. Storms show you what's fragile and what's strong within you. They strip away illusions and force you to discover the quiet power you didn't know you had. The strongest people are not those who have never faced hardship, but those who have faced it and refuse to let it destroy their spirit. They are calm not because life is easy, but because they have walked through fire and learned how to breathe through it. They've learned that panic never solves problems, but patience often does. They've learned that storms pass, and what remains afterward is who you truly are. So when storms come, and they always will, don't waste your energy trying to stop them. Use that energy to prepare your heart, strengthen your faith, train your mind to focus on what you can control and surrender what you can't. The wind will blow, but you don't have to move with it. The waves will crash, but you don't have to drown. There's a stillness within you that no storm can touch, but you must choose to find it. Peace is not found in perfect weather. It's found in your ability to remain calm when the wind howls. The person who panics loses twice, first in the storm and again in the struggle to recover. But the one who stays composed endures the storm and comes out wiser, clearer, and stronger. Every storm eventually ends, the clouds break, the sun returns, and the air becomes fresher than before. And when you've stood through it, you realize that the storm didn't defeat you, it defined you. So don't fear the storms that life brings. Welcome them as reminders that you are still growing, still learning, still capable of more strength than you thought possible. You cannot stop the storms from coming, but you can build the strength to stand through them. And when you do, you'll discover peace so deep that no wind, no wave, and no chaos can ever take it away. Self-awareness is the beginning of emotional mastery. You cannot control what you don't first understand. Most people live reacting to life instead of responding to it because they move through each day unaware of what's really happening inside them. They feel anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, but they never stop to ask why. They blame situations, people, or fate without realizing that the true battle is within. The moment you start observing your emotions instead of drowning in them, you take your first step toward peace. Awareness turns confusion into clarity and reaction into response. Self-awareness means becoming an honest observer of your own heart. It's when you pause long enough to recognize your triggers before they control you. It's when you notice the tension rising in your chest and ask yourself, what's really making me feel this way? Most people skip this step. They react impulsively, say things they don't mean, and regret it later. But the person who practices awareness understands that emotions are signals, not commands. Anger may signal that something feels unfair. Fear may signal uncertainty. Sadness may signal loss. Once you identify the message, you can decide what to do with it, without letting it hijack your peace. Imagine standing beside a river. The water flows swiftly, sometimes clear, sometimes muddy. That river is your stream of emotions. Most people jump in and get carried away by the current, but a self-aware person stands on the bank, watching the flow, observing how feelings rise and fade. They know that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. Awareness gives you that distance, the ability to experience emotion without becoming it. You can feel anger without becoming an angry person. You can feel sadness without losing hope. You can feel fear without surrendering to it. The truth is, You can't control every emotion that enters your mind, but you can control how long it stays there. That power comes from awareness. When you catch yourself before the reaction, you open the door to choice. Instead of shouting, you can breathe. Instead of judging, you can listen. Instead of running from discomfort, you can learn from it. Awareness allows you to replace automatic reaction with thoughtful response, and that's where emotional mastery begins. The journey of awareness requires honesty, and honesty is not always comfortable. It's easier to blame others for your emotions than to confront your own patterns. It takes courage to admit that sometimes the problem is not what others do, but how you choose to perceive it. Yet this is where freedom begins, when you stop living on emotional autopilot and start taking responsibility for your inner world. The more you understand yourself, the less power external circumstances have over you. The storms may come, but they cannot shake a person who knows their own center. Self-awareness also teaches compassion. When you recognize your own emotional struggles, you begin to see that others are fighting theirs too. You become slower to judge and quicker to understand. You realize that peace is not achieved by suppressing emotions, but by embracing them with wisdom. Awareness transforms emotional chaos into emotional intelligence. You start responding not from impulse but from insight. Every moment of awareness adds a layer of calm to your heart. Building self-awareness takes daily practice. It's in the quiet moments, when you reflect on your day, when you notice what made you anxious, what gave you peace, what drained your energy. Over time, you start to see patterns, the words that hurt you most, the situations that bring out your best, the habits that disturb your calm. Once you see those patterns clearly, you gain the power to change them. And when you change your inner patterns, your outer world begins to shift too. So remember, emotional mastery doesn't start with control. It starts with awareness. You can't silence your emotions, but you can listen to them with understanding. The more aware you become of yourself, the more peace you invite into your life. Because awareness is light, and once light enters a room, darkness can no longer control it. In the same way, once awareness enters your heart, no emotion can rule it. Your emotions are the steering wheel of your life. Every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every path you choose is influenced by how you feel in the moment. When you learn to control your emotions, you don't just gain peace, you gain power. Because emotions, when uncontrolled, can destroy opportunities, but when mastered, they can create an extraordinary destiny. The one who rules their emotions rules their future. The one who lets emotions rule them loses both peace and purpose. Life constantly presents situations designed to test your emotional balance. A single moment of anger can ruin years of effort. A few seconds of fear can stop you from taking a life-changing opportunity. A wave of doubt can silence your dreams before they even begin. That's how powerful emotions are. They can either build your destiny or break it. But once you learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, and to think before deciding, you take back control of the direction your life is heading. Because every reaction shapes the next chapter of your story. Think of emotions as fire. In a fireplace, fire brings warmth, comfort, and light. But when it's out of control, it burns everything in its path. The difference is not in the fire, it's in the control. Your anger can destroy or defend. Your sadness can weaken or deepen your soul. Your joy can distract or uplift. It's how you handle each emotion that determines whether it will guide you toward peace or chaos. When you begin to master your emotions, you begin to harness their energy for growth instead of destruction. Those who lack emotional control often find themselves repeating cycles, losing relationships, missing chances, or regretting decisions made in haste. They think life is unfair, but often it's not life, it's the lack of inner stability that keeps them trapped. On the other hand, people who control their emotions make wiser decisions because they respond from logic and understanding, not from momentary impulses. They turn setbacks into lessons instead of losses. They turn criticism into motivation instead of pain. That's how they rise higher every time life tests them. Emotional mastery is not about being cold or indifferent. It's about being grounded. It's knowing that you can feel anger without acting on it, feel fear without being ruled by it, and feel sadness without letting it consume you. This kind of control doesn't make you less human, it makes you stronger, more peaceful, and far more focused. The moment you gain this balance, your mind becomes clearer, your actions more deliberate, and your destiny more defined. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming a creator of outcomes. When you let emotions run wild, you live reactively, constantly at the mercy of external events. But when you control your emotions, you live intentionally, with direction, purpose, and vision. The world around you may still change, but your inner world remains steady. That's the mark of real strength, to stay calm in chaos, to stay kind when provoked, and to stay patient when delayed. That level of control doesn't come overnight. It comes through self-discipline, awareness, and practice. But once achieved, it transforms everything: your relationships, your career, and your sense of fulfillment. Your emotions are like the winds of the sea. You cannot stop them from blowing, but you can learn how to sail. Those who let emotions toss them around life drifting uncertain lives. But those who learn to steer with emotional wisdom reach destinations that others only dream of. Every great leader, every wise soul, every person who has made an impact in this world learned this truth: control your emotions and you control your destiny. So guard your peace, protect your composure. Don't hand your emotional control to people, events, or disappointments. Let your mind lead, not your mood. The future belongs to those who stay steady in storms, calm in conflict, and wise in emotion. Because once you master your emotions, nothing outside of you can destroy what you've built inside. That is how destiny bows to discipline, and peace becomes your permanent companion.